We thought we were the masters of the galaxy. We believed humans were fragile, emotional, and weak. But we were wrong. Catastrophically wrong. My name is Zorax Trell, and this is not just a story, it is a confession. A warning about the day. We tried to conquer humanity, discovered why they should never be underestimated. Zorax Trell and the Great Miscalculation. My name is Zorax Trell, Senior Xenobiologist of the Galactic Confederation. For years I thought my work was about science, about understanding new species. But now as I speak these words, I realize my research has turned into something else, has become a confession, a warning. Because what I am about to tell you is the story of how we made the biggest mistake in the history of our civilization. We thought humans were weak. We thought they were fragile. We thought emotions made them soft. And we were wrong, catastrophically. Embarrassingly, universe-shakingly wrong. The Galactic Confederation is made up of many species, spread across countless star systems. For thousands of years, we have traveled the stars, conquering or negotiating with new worlds. We believed we had seen everything the galaxy could offer, and we discovered Earth, a small blue-green planet on the edge of its solar system. We were certain its people would be nothing special. To us, they seemed backward, a young species with primitive technology and too much attachment to feelings. In our reports, we wrote that humans cry at weddings, that they weep for characters in fictional stories, that they form emotional attachments. Two objects that have no life. To the Confederation, this was pathetic. To Captain Quinn Narlax, the Crow commander leading our study, it was laughable. The Crow were known for suppressing all emotions, believing that cold logic made them superior. To him, humans were simply another species to control. He dismissed them as fragile beings who needed therapy because their parents didn't hug them. Enough. I disagreed, but I had no proof strong enough to argue. As a scientist, I found humans fascinating. Their emotions, I suspected, might be more than weakness. They might be a kind of hidden strength. But in the face of the Confederation's arrogance and Narlax's authority, my doubts meant nothing. The Council demanded results. After 7 years of observing humans, they wanted a recommendation. Should we build alliances, or should we conquer? Narlax wanted conquest. He wanted to land troops, demonstrate our superiority, and force humanity into compliance. To him, emotions were proof of weakness. But even as I sat in those meetings, brushing the dust from datapads filled with our reports, a quiet thought kept circling in my mind. What if we are wrong? I did not know then that this doubt, small, unspoken, buried inside me, would soon become the terrible truth. Because humanity, the species we dismissed as fragile, was about to show us what emotions could really do. And when they did, the Confederation would never be the same again. The plan for subjugation, the Council of the Galactic Confederation, grew impatient. For 7 years we had studied humans, watching their lives through satellites, hidden probes, and disguised observation teams. Still, the Council demanded results. They wanted to know if humanity was worth diplomacy or if conquest would be the faster solution. Captain Quinn Narlax, always arrogant and always certain of his own superiority, made the decision. He wanted conquest. To him, humans were emotional. Weaklings. They laughed, cried, and built their entire societies on feelings. In his mind, that made them easy to control. He argued that the only way to prove our superiority was through action. The plan was simple. We would select a small but meaningful human town, something big enough to matter, but small enough to control. This sample would be our experiment. If the humans surrendered quickly, the rest of their species would follow. If they resisted, we would demonstrate our technology and crush their hope. The target was chosen, a coastal town called Riverdale, located in a region humans called Oregon. Its population was about 15,000. Remote enough for containment, but not so small as to be meaningless. It was perfect for Narlax's cruel test. The attack was scheduled for early morning hours, when most humans would be asleep. Our assault teams would land with gravity platforms equipped with non-lethal weapons designed to subdue. We would shut down their power grids, take control of communication, and announce our presence. Narlax believed panic would sweep through the streets. Fear would bring quick surrender. Lieutenant Drell, our strategist, gave a warning. Humans had many weapons. While primitive compared to ours, they were still numerous. Conquest might not be without cost. But Narlax dismissed him with a wave of his hand. What's the cost of dealing with a species that needs emotional support animals to function? He mocked. His soldiers laughed, though uneasily. As a scientist, I had doubts. Emotions had carried humans through wars, disasters, and history. Their volatility, I believed, was a hidden weapon. But my voice was small in the shadow of Narlax's command. He called me sentimental, blinded by curiosity. Still, I joined the ground team. If disaster came, someone needed to document the truth, so it was decided. At 0300 hours Earth time, our ships would descend. 3 assault craft, 1 command vessel, 50 soldiers, and 1 scientist. We expected confusion, panic, and surrender, but what we found instead was preparedness. The invasion begins. The night was quiet in Riverdale. Houses lined the coast, streetlights glowed dimly, and most of the town slept without knowing that their lives were about to change forever. Above them, hidden in the dark sky, our ships waited. 3 assault craft and 1 command vessel floated silently, their engines humming with low vibration. At 0300 local time, Captain Narlax gave the order. Begin descent. The ships pierced Earth's atmosphere like shadows falling from the stars. Blue stabilization fields flared, lighting up the sky with unnatural brilliance. Windows rattled, animals howled, and the once silent night became filled with alien thunder. Our technology was overwhelming. With a single command, we cut Riverdale's power grid. The entire town went black, street by street, leaving only the faint glow of emergency generators and battery-powered lamps. To us, this was a demonstration of power. To Narlax, it was proof of human helplessness. Deploy ground forces, Lieutenant Drell announced. Soldiers in heavy exo-armor stepped onto gravity platforms descending slowly from the ships. Blue beams illuminated their path, making them look like demons from human legends. 30 warriors carrying non-lethal subjugation weapons fell from the sky, ready to crush resistance. I stood in the command vessel, recording everything. My hearts raced as I watched the soldiers land in the empty streets. The first report came quickly. Team 1 on the ground. No resistance. Narlax smiled, certain of victory. They are hiding. Predictable. But then, the first explosion shook the earth. Flash of fire swallowed Team 1, cutting off their signal. The ground cracked, creating a sinkhole that swallowed armored troops whole. What was that? Narlax demanded. Improvised explosive device, Drell replied, shock in his voice. Crude, but effective. They targeted the ground beneath us. Before Narlax could react, more reports poured in. Team 2 was under fire. Team 3 was pinned down. From the command screen, I saw chaos unfold. Humans appeared from rooftops, basements, drainage tunnels, and even camouflage positions disguised as gardens. They weren't panicking. They were fighting. Bullets, firebombs, traps, crude weapons, yes, but deadly in their clever use. Our soldiers were confused, struggling against attacks they hadn't expected. Humans used their environment, turning every street corner into a battlefield. This is absurd, Narlax hissed. They are supposed to be emotionally broken, not coordinated. But I knew what I was seeing. Humanity's emotions weren't weakening them. Fear had become focus. Anger had become courage. For the first time, the Galactic Confederation was not the hunter. We were the prey. Humans fight back. The first attack should have broken the humans. That was what Captain Narlax believed. He thought fear would paralyze them. But what I saw in the streets of Riverdale was the exact opposite. Fear had not broken them. Fear had sharpened them. Humans fought with everything they had. They knew their weapons were weaker, but they used creativity to even the odds. Gasoline-filled bottles became firebombs, raining down on our armored soldiers from rooftops. Electrical wires were stripped and dragged into puddles, electrocuting. Any alien who stepped into the trap, even household tools, axes, pipes, sharpened farming equipment, became weapons in desperate hands. Our advanced armor could resist bullets, but humans adapted fast. Snipers aimed for weak spots in the joints. Explosives were placed in sewer tunnels, creating underground collapses that swallowed entire squads. Children carried messages across the battlefield, while elders mixed chemicals into improvised smoke. Grenades. This was not chaos. This was strategy. And at the center of it all was Mayor Dana Forrester. She was not a soldier, yet she stood on the front line with her people. Her voice carried through handheld radios and loudspeakers hidden around town. Hold the line. This is our home, and no invader will take it. Her words fueled her people. Instead of fleeing, they united. From the command vessel, Narlax roared. In disbelief? This is madness. They are disorganized savages. But the screens told another story. Human networks had hacked into our own communication lines, scrambling signals and feeding false orders to alien squads. Troops were walking into ambushes, thinking they were following real commands. I leaned closer to the display, astonished. This wasn't just brute survival. This was intelligence, improvisation, and resilience. Humans were turning their emotions into weapons. Fear gave them focus. Anger gave them strength. And unity gave them coordination no machine could replicate. One soldier's report chilled me, sir. They know our tactics. They've studied us. The impossible truth dawned on me. Humans were not unprepared. They had expected us. Had been watching the skies, planning for this day. Narlax had thought of Riverdale as a test. But to the humans, this was a battlefield they had chosen. For the first time, I felt shame. We had underestimated them, and now the invaders were the ones trapped. The negotiation in Riverdale by dawn, Riverdale looked like a battlefield. Smoke rose above rooftops, streets were littered with rubble, and fires burned in the distance. Yet despite all this destruction, the humans stood firm, had not broken. They had not surrendered. Instead, they fought harder, fiercer, and smarter than any of us had expected. Captain Narlax was furious. His perfect plan had collapsed. His soldiers were trapped in narrow streets, surrounded by human fighters who knew every corner, every alley, every hidden path. Reports of heavy losses streamed in, and still, the humans refused to give up. Finally, Narlax decided on a new tactic. If humans would not break through force, perhaps they could be manipulated. He ordered a temporary ceasefire. The shooting stopped, and for the first time since the invasion began, silence fell over Riverdale. Smoke curled into the sky, and the smell of ash and oil lingered. It was then that Mayor Dana Forrester stepped forward. Dressed in dusty clothes, her face streaked with smoke, she walked into the open streets with her people watching from behind. Barricades. She looked tired but unafraid. Narlax appeared through a holographic projection from the command vessel above, his 4 cold eyes glaring at her. "You fight bravely," he said, his voice sharp with arrogance, "but it is pointless. We are the Galactic Confederation. You are only human. Surrender now, and I will spare your people further suffering." The mayor stared at him, then spoke with calm but iron strength. "You misunderstand us. We don't fight because we think we can win. We fight because this is our home. You will never take that from us." Her words rippled through the crowd. Soldiers, children, and elders all stood taller, their courage renewed. Narlax sneered. "Emotions, always emotions. They make you weak." Forrester shook her head. "No, they make us human, and that is our strength. You can't calculate it, you can't suppress it, and you will never control it." I felt something shift inside me as I listened. Her voice carried a power no weapon could match. Even our soldiers, hardened and trained, hesitated. It was not fear that controlled these people, it was unity. For the first time, I wondered if Captain Narlax understood the danger he was in. This wasn't just resistance. This was defiance, and it was spreading like fire. The Council of Seven and humanity's hidden technology news of the Riverdale battle spread across the Confederation faster than light. What was supposed to be an easy victory had turned into humiliation. Videos of human fighters outsmarting alien soldiers were leaked by our own surveillance, and soon every council chamber was buzzing with disbelief. The Council of Seven, the most powerful leaders of the Confederation, gathered in their great chamber on Zerith Prime, they demanded answers. Captain Narlax blamed faulty intelligence. He called the humans lucky savages, who had only survived because of tricks and desperation. But not all the council members agreed. Some suspected something more. I was called to testify. My data, collected over 7 years of research, painted a different picture. I explained how humans turned fear into courage, how their emotions gave them strength rather than weakness. At first, the council dismissed this as philosophy, not science. But then, the humans themselves proved me right. For in Riverdale, during a secret parley, the humans revealed something shocking. They were not as primitive as we believed. Mayor Dana Forrester was not acting alone. She represented a secret alliance called the Earth Defense Accord, led by hidden leaders and brilliant minds who had prepared for extraterrestrial contact for decades. The greatest revelation came with the arrival of Admiral Rafael Valdez, commander of Earth's hidden fleet. His forces had remained unseen, disguised among orbital debris and deep ocean bases. When he revealed himself, the sky above Riverdale filled with human ships, not crude machines, but sleek vessels powered by antimatter drives technology. Even the Confederation respected. The council chamber fell silent when this was reported. Antimatter technology was supposed to be beyond human reach, and yet here it was, displayed openly by a species we thought inferior. Narlax raged, calling, "It lies," but the truth was undeniable. Humanity had hidden its strength, waiting for the day it would be tested. Their weakness had been an illusion, a mask. And while the Confederation underestimated them, they had prepared to meet us as equals. For the first time in centuries, the Council of Seven faced a choice: continue a war they might lose, recognize humanity as a new power in the galaxy. And as I stood before them, I felt pride for the species we had once mocked. Humanity had forced the Confederation to listen. The new beginning and Zorax's regret, the war that never truly began, ended not with fire, but with words. The Council of Seven, shaken by humanity's hidden strength, voted against Captain Narlax's demand for full conquest. They realized that to fight humans further would be reckless. Humanity had proven not only its courage, but its intelligence, and most of all, its will to survive. An uneasy peace was declared. In Riverdale, the smoke still rose, the streets still bore scars, but the people stood proud. For them, victory was not just about survival. It was about proving to the galaxy that they were no one's subjects. They were equals. Admiral Valdez met with representatives of the Confederation under the ruined clock tower of Riverdale's town square. What should have been rubble became the stage for history. The agreement was clear: no occupation, no subjugation. Instead, diplomacy. Humanity would be welcomed reluctantly into the circle of galactic powers. I stood in the background, recording every moment. For years, I had studied humanity as though they were lab animals, fragile and simple. Now I saw them differently. They were messy, yes, emotional, certainly. But those emotions were not weaknesses. They were the weapons that gave them strength. When logic would have surrendered, I thought back to Mayor Dana Forrester's words. We don't fight because we think we can win. We fight because this is our home. No advanced machine, no strategic calculation could ever match that resolve. Captain Narlax, stripped of command, never understood. His arrogance was his downfall. He believed superiority came from weapons and control. But I had learned the truth. Superiority came from resilience, unity, and the ability to rise after every fall. When I returned to the council chambers to submit my final report, I did not call humans weak. I called them something far more dangerous, unpredictable, and that unpredictability was exactly what made them powerful now. When I look at Earth from orbit, I no longer see a primitive world waiting for guidance. I see a partner, a people who had reminded the galaxy of something we had forgotten: the value of heart, of emotion, of stubborn hope. My name is Zorax Trell. I was sent to study humanity. Instead, I was changed by them. And if the galaxy has any wisdom left, it will never again underestimate the species called human.